afternoon is on child well-being and primarily empowerment and education. We have been doing QIS for the last few weeks, and we have been sending you out various standards to look at. So we are going to spend 30 minutes together sharing some ideas and questions on child well-being, specifically on empowerment and on education. Mim, would you please help me with the next slide, please? So the materials that we have been sending out to you are, as you have seen or can see there, are the various standards that we have been looking at and we have been focusing on. We also had a doodly that we sent out to you and videos on various standards that we have been looking at. Next slide, please, Nim. Thank you. The foundations that we have been focusing on in child well-being are improving the welfare of every child in our care by addressing their physical, emotional, spiritual, and developmental needs in a holistic way. We have also been ensuring that no child is excluded from their from care that we offer due to their gender, racial, or ethnic origin, or whether they have mental or physical challenges. It's all inclusive. Empowering every child in our care to take a meaningful and active part in defining the needs addressed by our projects and our activities. Those are the things that we have been focusing on and sending you out, challenging you to look at your organizations, your schools, and your churches to ensure that these things are happening. Next slide, please, May.
I'm hoping it's
Thank
there.
you.
Okay.
Yes, it is here. Thank you. So our accountability standards for this particular session are going to focus on education and play. They're going to focus on guidance and loving discipline. And even if we are looking at empowerment and education, all of that is embroiled in what we are going to talk about this afternoon for the next few minutes. So there is education and the play, having opportunities to learn and to play and to develop appropriately. Guidance and loving discipline, children receiving loving guidance and boundaries that do not put them at risk of harm, but help them to make good choices and to respect themselves and others. We're also going to include our lifestyles, skills, and recreation. That's also part of it. Children being able to have fun, to learn helpful skills, and to be given opportunities for new hobbies and for leisure activities, and aiming towards being awarded. Next slide, please, Ma'am. Thank you. Access to information is the other standard. Having relevant information that is shared with children. We have sent you standards on that one. Safety, children that are safe and that are free from abuse and that are protected from all forms of violence, from abuse, and from exploitation. This last week, we are focusing on the spiritual aspect. Children are given the chance to hear the gospel, to see love demonstrated through the love of Jesus, and to grow spiritually. Next slide, please. So our focus, like I had mentioned earlier, is on education and empowerment. So our commitment as a network is to bring children up in wisdom, stature, and favor with God and man. And so reflecting on education and empowerment, we want to understand what that means this afternoon and to consider that in our own organizations, churches, and schools. Education involves children discovering God's plan for them. It re-emphasizes the aspects of holistic development in children. It involves enabling children to thrive in safe environments and allowing them the freedom to be creative. It is inclusive, allowing every child to enjoy learning. And it involves loving guidance and disciplining children, enabling them to make wise choices for their lives. Next slide, please. So how do we define education in this context? There is a saying by Einstein that says education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. So it goes beyond the classroom. The opportunity that children are given to learn, to dream, to grow and to thrive in their families, communities, and beyond is part of what education is. It involves instruction, the formation of values in a child, the ability to understand the good work that was prepared by God in advance for each one of them to do. And that children can be given the opportunity to be creative and to enjoy the freedom to express themselves. Next slide, please, ma'am. So what enables a child to be successful in school? Being safe and secure is one aspect of it. Having an assurance of love and security coming from the family and in the school setting or the church. Discipline and loving guidance that enables children to make good decisions. The child being allowed to think and to innovate in and outside of wherever their environment is. And the child being given the opportunity to explore and to try out new things. That all enables a child to be successful in school. And I'm sure you're going to give us even more ideas than these that we have put across to you. Next slide, ma'am, please. So how would you involve children in making decisions in your school, in your churches, or in your organizations? We reflect on that thought that we have always had being said that children should be seen and not heard. We want to change that reality today, and that's what we are living for, to change that. Children's voices should be heard. They should be heard in our organizations, in our schools, in our churches. They should be part of and they should contribute to the decisions that are being made. Children should be given opportunities to express themselves, and their ideas ought to be implemented. They have very many great ideas. And children should feel valued, seen, and heard in the school, in the church, or in our organizations. Next slide, ma'am, please. So what would we need to put in place to ensure that children are safe and that they are protected? And so we ask you a question. Do you have policies that enable and ensure safety of the child? Have you put in place the child protection policy, the safeguarding policy, the code of conduct, the anti-bullying policy, or the human resource policy to ensure that those who are coming to work with the children are ones you're sure the children will be safe with? Do you have those policies in place? What about the physical aspects of where the children are? Consider walking around your environment and identifying any potential health and safety risks. And they can be many, or concerns: sharp edges, broken windows, dangerous cliffs, or sometimes even holes that have been dug for one reason or another, and they are not covered. Are children safe in those areas? The learning environment must also be physically safe with all the tools that are needed in place to ensure safety for children. Next slide, please, ma'am. Thank you. So what do you need to put in place for children to find education enjoyable? Well, you need to train and to equip all those that look after children in the organization. Equip them and train them well. You train and equip teachers, specifically in schools, to be creative and to allow the children the space to explore and to learn. And teachers should be responsive to the needs and the challenges of the times, especially in this season that we are in right now. During this season of COVID, it is very important to keep children engaged and learning. There are many ways that that can be done. So in light of our short discussion, what will you do differently going forward? I'm going to ask, we have asked 4 questions right there. This is the 5th one that we can have a discussion on, but there are those 4 questions as well that we will probably like to contribute to. And so I'm going to open it up to allow others to share and to try and answer those 4 questions, including this one. What can we do differently going forward in light of what we have reflected on in empowering and educating our children? Thank you very much.
So if you have a contribution, you can either raise your hand or open your mic and share your learnings.
Would it be helpful to go back to the questions?
Hello.
Hello, I think yes. We should go back to the question. Some of us joined late.
Okay.
Yes.
So the first question was, how would you define education? Nobody has a definition or a thought?
Well, I would say educational experiences one goes through right from birth.
Well,
Simple. Okay. I thought St. Paul's Chebando was still speaking. I think we either lost or I missed something.
Yes, this is Iman. On my thought, when you talk about education, we can refer it as a transmission of knowledge and the skill from one generation to another generation.
Okay, thank you very much, Iman. Paul, I see your hand up.
Yeah, many times when we talk about education, I feel that we're thinking about the school environment, the place where we send children to learn things. Usually we're thinking about academics. So it's interesting to hear Iman's definition. He says it's passing on body of knowledge and body of skills from one generation to another generation. I find that really a helpful definition.
Thank you, Paul. It actually just made me think about the fact that learning never stops from one generation to the next. Pastor Nyansi, I see your hand up.
yes. Good afternoon, members.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, education is all those activities and experiences which one goes through, which can enable that person to have a total change in life. This can involve dreams, being exposed, being able to learn from others, but the major purpose of the major goal is to enable the individual to have a change in life.
Okay.
Thank you. Mm,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Can I come in? It's Jonathan.
Yes, please.
Okay, it's Jonathan using Woodluck's machine. We are together here. I'm thinking in terms of education, put simply, is just the process of acquiring knowledge and information. It can be formal, it can be informal. Yeah, that's how I see it.
Thank you, Jonathan. It can be informal too. That's very true. Thank you. Maybe we could move on to the next slide, ma'am. The next question. So what do you think enables a child to be successful in school in light of all those definitions? Is Pastor Nyanzi's hand up again, or it just stayed up?
Yeah, it can still be up.
Okay.
I can contribute on this.
Okay.
What enables a child to be successful in school? On addition to what has been given, there must be a loving environment. This includes the teacher, the fellow learners, the school environment. Okay, the school environment was talked about, but the environment must be loving and willingness to enable the individual to participate and do what he or she can do without fearing anyone.
Thank you, Pastor.
You're welcome.
Paul?
It's a very interesting question, particularly because when you think about success in school, it is usually associated with good grades, academic performance, and merit. I know that Crane is doing the education program of the Girls Education Challenge. But one of the indicators is that for improving the learning outcomes is improved attendance in school, that the girls are able to attend class all the time. I know there's been a lot of investment into technology, improving how teachers instruct in a classroom in such a manner that children would be able to comprehend better, faster, and hit the grade. I have, in the recent past, read some interesting things that the success and academic prowess for a child is a function of your very first point, which is a safe family, a loving environment for a child. And I think that in many ways, lots of the programs we do focus on how we can strengthen a child's academic performance by looking at the factors around the school environment, from child protection, and yet in this study, they seem to be suggesting something really radically new, which is make sure the child is happy at home, make sure that they are safe, make sure that they feel loved, and then the rest will be added onto them. The rest will be easy for them. Including therefore relate at school and how they, once they're settled and happy, they'll be most likely able to perform well in the academics. And so that's an area that I think we all need to begin to consider and reflect on and say, what is the best combination? What are the most critical functions, the success of education for a child? And they might be outside the school environment, much more than we've known before.
Thank you. I am going to take Joseph first before I ask Pastor Nyanzi to speak again. Joseph, please go ahead. Joseph, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to thank Crane for this initiative. What would make a child successful at school? I believe it all starts from home. The environment at home, the neighborhood, the friends around. The environment really must be very encouraging a child to go to school or be in school. Parents must be very positive, and they must also be very supportive to the child's dreams. And then when we go to school, still, I also believe that the environment, the school environment also matters a lot. The policies at school, does the school have a child protection policy? Do they know the needs of the child? The teachers and the staff must all be welcoming. And then also the community must be also very supportive. Take an example, if a child is walking from home to school, the environment where this child is going through so many hurdles on the way. There are so many challenges, but I think the community should also be very supportive for this child to be successful at school. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Pastor Nyanzi, did you want to add? Pastor, are you there?
Are you hearing me?
Okay. Yes, we can. We can hear you now.
Okay. I would like to say something about success in school and success in academics. I think those are two different things. In today's world, there is a way we have mixed the two. We think that success in school is success in academics. But a school involves a lot of things, not only academics. Somebody might be successful in games, another one can be successful in innovations, another one can be successful in other things, not only academics. So what can make an individual to be successful in school? In addition to what we have already discussed, I have some three here. There must be preparedness of the teacher. Is the teacher prepared to deliver what he or she has for this learner? Will the learner be able to perceive it the way the teacher is preparing it? So I think one of the things is preparedness of the teacher. Then another one is support from the guardian or the parent. Once there is support, this learner will be able to achieve something. It may not be academics, it may be in co-curricular activities, but there must be support from the parent or the guardian. Then thirdly, national or what we normally call government policies is the policy of the government enabling the learner to achieve something in school. Because today we see that our major focus is on ability to get a distinction, ability to pass with the A, ability to pass with the super grades in academics. But this learner, is he or she able to fit in the society, to fit in the environment, to fit in the community after school successfully, even if he or she is successful in academics or not? But will that learner be able to live in tomorrow's world successfully? For me, I look at success in school as ability to to get something out of school which will enable you to live successfully in the world outside school. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your interesting thoughts, Pastor. We have 5 more minutes, so I'm going to ask Mim to move on to the next slide. But as she does so, I see comments here from Vicky. Vicky says children should be given an opportunity to dream, but they also must be guided in their career path. And Jonathan says success in school generally should be linked to the relevance of the curriculum to the environment of the child. There is a need for curriculum review in some countries, but it is relevant to the children. Thank you very much for those thoughts. The next question, and probably have just 2 minutes to think about this one. How would you involve children in making decisions in your organization or your school? And I think that the first 2 who come up will probably be able to answer this question in their thinking, if there are any.
I am unable to raise my hand, but allow me.
Okay, Mim, go ahead.
Yeah,
Please do.
allow me one suggestion.
Okay.
And I think that picture illustrates it well, is that the most insightful things come from informal conversations where you're just sat chatting and people are relaxed and they'll tell you there. If they know that it's a formal process or whatever, you probably won't get much. But when you've got a quiet one-on-one, sitting side by side or however, that's often when you get the best feedback.
Thank you, Mim.
Can I say something?
Yes, please, Helen.
When Mim was saying that informal kind of setting to talk to a child, it reminded me of an example we met in one of the schools we visited. When they know a child protection person is coming, the children sometimes are oriented and told, oh, don't tell that we beat or something like that. So while we parked in this compound, children were saying, oh, hello, how are you? And then Mike all of a sudden asks, so if you come late here at school, how many canes do you get? They were like, oh, 5, 10. So that informal kind of arrangement can actually tell you, or encourage a child to tell and be open and share things in a normal way and not really coached to say something, right? So it is always to make it child friendly for them, for you to get them to speak out something that is encouraging or something that is actually happening around them.
Very interesting reflections. Thank you, ladies. St. Paul's Chairman, do you have just 1 minute? 1 minute. Please go ahead. St. Paul's, I think you're muted. You need to unmute.
We can involve children in making decisions in the school by allowing them to form committees or bodies like prefect bodies. They can give their suggestions in suggestion boxes. In fact, some may feel shy to present their issues, so you can allow them to present their issues through suggestion boxes. At one time, we even developed a pupils' parliament in school where they were free to debate on their issues, and then their resolutions are sent to the relevant offices, either the deputy or in charge of prefects or direct to the administration. That's my submission.
Thank you very much. And so we'll go to our last one. I think we have one more. We've almost run out of time, if not already. Mim, would you please go to our very last one? What about those things that you need to put in place to ensure that children are safe and protected? I think some of them have already been mentioned. I think Joseph may have talked about child protection in some ways. Does anybody want to share on that one quickly? Does St. Paul's want to do that? I see St. Paul's hand is up or it just remained up? Okay, while you consider that, there is another comment in the chat here that is coming from Whitlock, and it talks about involving children in decision-making may be promoted through creating child-led apparel structures. I think something like St. Paul's Chebando was talking about, junior parliaments or junior councils, child-led child protection committees, great ideas. This would be places where children discuss matters alone, but with confidence and assurance that they'll be heard at home and at school and in their community and the nation if possible. I just want to thank you all very much for a very interesting discussion here. Unfortunately, we've not been able to answer all our questions, but thank you for your thoughts and thank you for your ideas. Please keep them coming. And I think we'll end the meeting here because our time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice afternoon.
Okay.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.